What up, artists? My name is Dwayne Jones. I'm the creative director and founder of a lifestyle brand called Art Pays Me. This is the Art Pays Me podcast, and I'm passionate about finding ways that people like you and me can make a living for ourselves off of our creativity. And, maybe we can make the world a better place at the same time. Let's get into it. What's up, artists? Welcome to Art Pays Me. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Studio M for dropping a listen and saying that they appreciated the show. Thank you very much. Today is going to be a solo episode. I haven't done one of these in a while. And the topic I want to get into is repetition and I guess the importance of it. So something I have to remind myself a lot is that even though something isn't immediately successful, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a failure. I've fallen prey, as I'm sure all of you do, to seeing people who are much younger than you, or they just started doing something, they haven't been doing something for as long as you've been doing, and they seem to be ahead of you in some certain ways, and it gets frustrating and it makes you want to quit, or it makes me want to quit. I'll talk about it from my perspective. It makes me want to quit. It makes me feel like, what's the point? And I've even lately I've gotten to this place, and I think it's my mental health starting to shift and decline in some ways, where even the idea of being an artist is I don't think I even want to do this anymore. But one thing I have to remind myself is, why? Why am I doing this? Am I doing it because of certain accolades and props and everything else? Or am I doing it because it makes me feel good? Am I doing it for other external reasons? And then remembering when, I was a kid, and martial arts was something I was passionate about. And then later in high school, basketball was something I was passionate about. None of those things I saw very much positive feedback from. And it took a lot of hard work and repetition for me to start to see that I was showing some kind of improvement in skill. And I ultimately became, I think, a pretty decent martial artist and an okay basketball player, but all of it was going in the gym, working out, training, doing the extra work, even when other people didn't have to. Same with me academically. I've never been gifted academically, but I had to consistently put in time, even when it felt like I was getting no results. I had to show up and continue to put the time in. And, it's taking those little wins when you realize, hey, you know what? I actually improved. And sometimes with my art and with my business, I have to remind myself, okay, I didn't hit certain sales targets, but I did have a win in this area. And, instead of stopping, which is what has happened a lot lately, I just don't want to do things. You can't see any results if you don't actually do something. So you have to keep working that muscle. You have to keep doing more, putting things out. And part of one of the great things about having kids is I'm seeing my oldest daughter, and she's really gifted in terms of her artwork skills, and I watch how good she's gotten. She can draw on her tiny iPod, or she can get a piece of paper and draw. For her, it doesn't matter. She draws in Word. She'll find any kind of way that she can make imagery, and she'll find a way to make it, it's not necessarily designed for making imagery. She'll find a way to make images out of it. And she does it at a high level, to the point where I think she's 11 years old, and I've showed her work to clients or potential clients, and I think I can, we could even start getting her commissioning work. And, she's not perfect in this area of like the repetition thing when it comes to things that she doesn't necessarily enjoy. But what I've learned with watching her with the art thing is she just doesn't care. She just makes and makes and makes. And I'm seeing the results of it, of how good she's gotten in such a short amount of time. And it's a reminder to me that, sometimes when I want to do a painting, I'm so hung up in, well, it's not going to look the way that, I'm not going to be able to produce the image that's in my mind. So that stops me from even trying. And then I'm also thinking about the business implications of it. Well, is this a good use of my time to be spending on this? And is it going to sell? What am I going to sell it for? And the reality is sometimes with these things, you just have to make. And with one of the paintings I'm working on now, I keep reminded, that's the thing. It's like I started it and I'm seeing, okay, it doesn't look exactly as I planned, but the happy mistakes are making it still special on some level. And I wouldn't have gotten to where it is now if I hadn't have actually started it. So like we have to, in business, you have to sort of set goals and you have to have expectations and things like that. So it's always tough when you think like a business. But sometimes I have to remind myself that one of the things I learned from my art practice is, you have to sort of let go of expectations on some level, because nobody has the key to all things. No one can guarantee results. As much as we like to talk about ROI and all these other things in business, no one, when it comes to creativity, can say, what's going to hit and what's not going to hit. My favorite musicians, my favorite artists, I don't like all of the things that they put out. Doesn't mean that they're not still my favorite artists. It just means I didn't connect with that particular thing. I have to remind myself that I'm not going to connect with every single thing that I put out. But should I stop putting things out? Should I stop making? No, you shouldn't. To me, I think the key is keep going, keep making, take the feedback, the positive, the negative, the in-between, but take solace in knowing that on some level, whether the thing performed in the way that you want it to perform, you still are improving. You're still growing on some level, and the world is a little bit better. And your world is a little bit better for you improving yourself. And then repeat. I hope you enjoyed this one. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to the Art Pays Me podcast. Thank you to Langy Beats for the theme music. If you got anything out of this show, please rate, review, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. The more you do this, the more reach the podcast gets, and the more artists I can help learn to make a living at what they love. If you want to know more about what I do, hit me up at artpaysme.com or at artpaysme on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest. See y'all next time.